Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
But we got a team in here. And this is a Viking chant. Now every time up here, we gotta score. Let's go.
Welcome in to a 4-Question Friday here on Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company from the TCL studios. Enjoy more of what you love with TCL. Phil Mackey, Judd Zolgad, our executive producer, Declan Goff. And our mission statement's pretty simple on this show. Daily Minnesota Vikings entertainment, and we just want a Super Bowl before we all kick rocks. That's all we want here. And so the first step to that Super Bowl is the preseason. There's a lot to learn in the preseason. Preseason game number 2 taking place this weekend. And boys, 4-Question Friday is brought to us in large part by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Been helping business owners in and around the Twin Cities and the state of Minnesota for over 100 years. If you're looking for risk management, you're looking for peace of mind, and you just want your business to be protected, get that frontline protection, go to federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Here's question number 1. What do you guys think will be the main talking point after this next preseason game is over?
I believe the main talking point will probably be the talking point that we always get after preseason games. That will be the quarterback play. Kirk Cousins, I think, is going to play a series or 2. Jake Browning, obviously, will come in behind him, and then Mond. And so I think it's fair to say that there will be a lengthy breakdown of QB play as a whole. So I don't think if Kirk doesn't look great or Kirk looks great, I don't think it's going to be all Kirk. But when you put the totality of the whole thing together, right? Kirk followed by Browning, who was not good last week. Is he improved? And then I think if Mond basically picks his nose, it's a story at this point. So I think it'll
especially if his mechanics are a little weird when he picks it, right?
See how he
looked a little rigid.
Sideways? Anyway, I think it's going to be quarterback play because that's what it usually is in the preseason.
Dex?
Yeah, it's similar to me, but I'll take it one step further, and I think Kellen Mond solidifies himself as QB2 after this game against the Colts.
Oh, see?
I think Browning's stock is falling, and I know Mond has been behind the 8 ball, but I think there's a serious case, especially with the way he's been talked about and been playing at preseason. I think Saturday is a chance for him to solidify his case for QB2. I know we all thought he'd be the third stringer, and there still even might be a chance they could bring in another veteran backup, but I think he's trending in the right direction, that he's actually going to be the primary backup to Kirk Cousins when they open in Cincinnati on week 1.
So before I answer this real quick, because Judd, you said there's a chance Kirk Cousins could play. Do we have any inkling about, because they sat 31 guys in the first preseason game. Are they going to play those guys?
Yeah. Zimmer said that they plan on playing the starters until, quote, I tell them to come out. But clearly the guys who are banged up, like Anthony Barr and Justin Jefferson, aren't going to play. My guess is Dalvin Cook won't, because there is no reason to play him.
No, dude.
But I do think that the first team offensive line plays for sure, and I think Kirk gets the start. So yes, I think he gets a series or 2. What we don't know is with 3 preseason games, Phil, are they now going to then come back in the 3rd preseason game and play a guy like Cousins more? Is this going to be treated like the 3rd one was? That's the unknown about playing time.
Yeah. So I don't know which way it will land, but I think the offensive line is going to be, if the first team offensive line plays, and right now Rashad Hill is your first team left tackle, Oli Udoh is your first team right guard.
Right.
I think the offensive line is going to be a big headline because it'll be the first time we get to see that offensive line with Kirk Cousins even for 10 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then on this show, we like to dive into some of the Pro Football Focus rankings, and so we'll get to tell you what Oli Udoh's grade was. But I think people are going to have a close watch on in the 5 passes that they allow Kirk Cousins to throw. Did he have time? Was he running for his life? You're not going to be able to glean a whole lot, but it just feels like that unit is under the magnifying glass more than almost anything else right now. It's so hard to defensively. I feel like it's so hard to pick things up in the preseason because you're playing vanilla schemes. If a defense gets torched, it's like, well, you're not really scheming against that offense. And even offensively, it's hard to know because you're not unveiling your full allotment of plays, right? But one thing that doesn't really lie is the trenches, right? Who's winning battles in those trenches? I almost forgot to hit this when I said
Football.
Oh, yeah.
And if Bradbury is getting lifted off the line of scrimmage, or if Udo is pancaking an opposing defensive lineman, like whatever way it goes, I think there's going to be a lot of chatter about the state of the Vikings offensive line once we get to see. That's right. My guy, Oli Udo. You guys have just bailed. He's my guy.
Not bailing
now.
on anybody yet.
Who's got two thumbs and a
to bail.
high ceiling right guard? That's right. Macadac.
I've got the parachute out. It's not pulled yet. I'm not pulling the ripcord just yet. I just got the parachute out. I'm ready for the crash.
Well, one guy who is absolutely ready for the crash is Drew Magary, formerly of Deadspin, now of, gosh dang it, is it Defector?
Defector.
I think it's Defector because they defected from Deadspin to this new website.
Yep.
So this is question number 2. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying Drew Magary is a diehard Vikings fan, a lifelong diehard Vikings fan. And he writes a 32-article series every year entitled Why Your Team Sucks. And he does it for all 32 teams in the NFL. He basically says, most people aren't a fan of your team. And so this is the perspective from the people that don't like your team.
Yep.
And I'm going to read you some excerpts from his Why the Vikings Suck article. And I want you guys to tell me for question number 2, are these fair assessments? Okay? On Mike Zimmer, the top line is that Zimmer treats everyone, including his own general manager, like crap. He deliberately sabotages his own offense. He hates any passing scheme that post-dates 1987. He never changes his own defensive scheme because he thinks it's perfect. Oh, and his scheme is way too complicated for its own good, which means Zimmer is consistently relying on ancient players to execute it because more talented young players don't know what the bleep they're supposed to be doing. Zimmer also just ran another offensive coordinator out of town and replaced him with that guy's son. I used to think Zim was the best Vikings coach in my lifetime. I was wrong. I just watched Kevin Stefanski walk out the door and turn the Browns into a sudden contender. Your thoughts? Is that a fair assessment from Drew Magary of Mike Zimmer?
Okay, a lot of things are fair. I think it's a little bit harsh. He's still done a good job. Listen, Gary Kubiak retired. He did not chase him out of town.
I don't know.
He'd love him back.
I think Kubiak might have had a couple years in the tank if he was working with John Harbaugh or somebody else.
Well, but I just think I think Zim loves his old coaches, and his thing about trying to bring in veteran players to execute his defense is right. Drew Magary, in my opinion, more right than wrong. I'm not willing to go all into the deep end of the pool of what he said, but he's also got some very good points.
Dex, was it a fair assessment or was it too much for you?
Oh, it's fair. I think it's absolutely fair. It's dead on. It's not at all hyperbole. I know you can make that case. It's all true.
Zimmer gets so they'll draft a young cornerback and Zimmer will be like, all right, this will be great. And then 5 minutes in, he's like, this guy can't figure out my scheme. Get him out of here. Right? This is terrible. On Cousins, Drew Magary writes, I had to edit some of this for
good luck.
For F-bombs.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of Kirk Cousins. I want a new brain injury. I think Magary had a concussion or something.
Oh,
something happened.
No, he had a stroke or aneurysm.
Okay.
An aneurysm. He wrote a really good piece on it.
Okay.
Super, super scary.
So
Yep.
I'm so sick of Kirk Cousins. I want a new brain injury. And yet here he remains. I could argue that Kirk is a highly cromulent passer if you look at his stats. But would you believe me? No, you wouldn't. You know that Kirk's teammates hate his guts. You know that Kirk is why Stephon Diggs wanted out of here. You know that when the Vikings desperately need to score, Kirk will respond by engineering the fastest 3-and-out you've ever seen. You know that there will be a healthy stretch in the middle of the season, any season, where Kirk is the worst quarterback in football.
Oh my God.
Is that a fair assessment from Drew Magary?
Yes. It's 1,000%. Yes. It's correct. He said stretch. He didn't say he's the worst quarterback in football. He said there will be a stretch where he's terrible. His teammates aren't big fans. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so he's definitely over the top here, but
he's got sources.
So Kirk's teammates hating him is an interesting thing here. I get that this is all like, it's like half satire, but it's also like sort of half truth because he's a Vikings fan.
Right.
It is weird. You look at some of the tea leaves, right? Kyle Rudolph leaves the organization, writes 2,000 words thanking everybody, literally thanking like equipment managers by name and former quarterbacks. He thanked Matt Castle and Teddy Bridgewater. 2,000 words. Never mentioned Kirk.
Correct.
Also, like, people pointed that out, and he had a chance to come back and be like, "Oh my God, I totally forgot about Kirk. Kirk, I love you." Like, never, like,
Never
radio silence, right? Mike Zimmer, a couple weeks back, comes out and praises the leadership and the get-it-done abilities of Jake Browning, who's like nowhere near an NFL starting caliber player. Never once has he ever said anything like that about Kirk. So, to that point, I don't know if his teammates hate him, but his teammates certainly aren't like actively looking to die on a hill for him publicly. So,
yeah, I think, and this goes way beyond the vaccination discussion. This goes to the fact that I have never seen a lot of players like embrace him. Like, you know, guys gravitate towards guys like Favre, right? I want to be around him. I want to be around. You never get that feeling about Kirk. And on the vaccination thing, I don't think it's that he's not vaxxed, because lots of guys aren't. And you can have an opinion about that. That's fine. I think what guys can't stand, and this makes perfect sense, is when he says stuff like, if I have to get plexiglass and surround myself with it. That's where I think he loses people.
Yeah.
Or we'll meet under a goalpost in January outside. Oh, you will?
I think it'll add some toughness. I think he's onto something right there.
But
I defend Kirk for those takes.
It's not his decisions. It's how he goes about articulating those things, I think, that lose teammates.
If you want the whole thing, just go to defector.com or type in why your team sucks, and then literally any team, you can read the articles. Excuse me. All right, question number 3 here. I want to know, we've had a lot of backup quarterback discussions here on Purple Daily this offseason. Browning and Mond. And what is your current Mount Rushmore of backup Vikings quarterbacks historically? I think we dabbled in this like a year ago, but I just want to know, like, let's come up with our own sort of joint Mount Rushmore. And I'm going to go, like, there's been some guys who've been sort of backups and starters, like guys who are known more as backups.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like Brad Johnson, known as a starter.
Yes, he's not a backup. Tavares was not a backup. He was, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
I got you.
So what would be your Mount Rushmore of Vikings backup quarterbacks?
I researched this because I was thinking, and here's the weird thing. I Googled these words because I thought somebody would have written this at some point, right? Like, here's the Vikings best back. I couldn't find it. So
Is Keenum? Is Keenum?
No.
Does he count?
He's not on my list.
He doesn't count.
He's not on my list.
He counts.
I went really old school to start with, because back in the day before competent backup quarterbacks hit the market, right, and got starting jobs, they used to sit on teams unless they were traded or cut. So my first one, a guy by the name of Bob Lee, a 17th round draft pick in 1968. Get this. He was with the Vikings from 69 to 72, and then again from 75 to 78. 52 games over 8 years, 11 starts.
Okay, so he was definitely backup.
That's a backup quarterback. My second guy from my youth, behind Kramer and Wade Wilson, who at times were backups but were starters. Steve Dills, 79 to 84, 4th round pick in 79. Over 6 years, 47 games, 15 starts. That's a backup. My third one, 2 stints here. But he's so nondescript as a Viking that if you go to Pro Football Reference, because he didn't play in a game, the Vikings aren't on his list of teams for statistics. Our guy, Sage Rosenfeld.
Yeah, it's true.
He's on mine.
But he's not like, if you go look at his career, Pro Football Reference has him in 2008 with Houston, I believe, and then resurfacing in 2010 with the Giants.
Yep.
But 2009 doesn't count because he didn't play.
Even though it's possible he's most known for being one of Brett Favre's backups and writing about it.
Yes.
Like, he never stepped foot on the field with the Vikings in a regular season game, but is probably most known for that year in his career.
That's a backup quarterback. And my last one, Gus Frerotte. 2 stints with the Vikings over a 3-year period.
I like it.
43 games, 13 starts. Your best part, 10-3 in those starts. The Vikings went 10-3.
I like it.
So Frerotte going backwards. Farrat, Rosenfeld, Steve Dills, Bob Lee.
I think that's a pretty good list. I mean, the only other one I would maybe throw out there, because I think if we could set parameters here, it would be you had to have started fewer than half the games or something that you were eligible. Like Wade Wilson was definitely mostly a backup to Tommy Kramer, but he started like 40 games or 50 games or something too.
Right.
So that might be like he actually started. He was 27 and 21 as a Vikings starting quarterback. So that's a lot of games. That's a pretty good list. It's a pretty good list.
Old school.
Judd, tell our faithful, once this Vikings preseason game is over, what are you going to be cheersing?
Oh, this is so simple. This is so simple. So it's 4-question Friday, but here's a fifth question from me, playing off of what Phil said. Not just what I'm going to be cheersing, but what are you, the listener or viewer, what are you going to be drinking? And right now you're saying, Judd, there's only one thing to drink, and I'm telling you that's exactly right. Surly Furious. Saturday night. In fact, you know what? Not cheersing after the game, but cheersing Friday night, cheersing Saturday during the game. Go pick up Surly Furious because, ladies and gentlemen, it's the weekend and you do enough settling in life. Crack open a Surly Furious and enjoy the IPA that revolutionized Minnesota craft beer. Don't settle, get surly, and then sit down and watch some football.
Love it. Also, drink that Surly responsibly so that you can enjoy what they have available at Moon Motorsports. So Moon Motorsports is celebrating 50 years as a family-owned and operated multi-line dealer in Monticello, Minnesota. So we're talking about a huge selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, snowmobiles, you name it. They've got the largest inventory selection in the region, and they carry 10 brands, Honda, Polaris, Yamaha. I can keep going. moonmotorsports.com if you want to scope out their entire inventory. All right, question number 4 here. It's a get-to-know-them question here. Get to know Mackie and Judd and Declan, all right? What would your last meal be if you were on death row and someone said, we'll get you anything you want, we'll home make it, or we'll pick it up from a restaurant and it'll be piping hot and fresh? What would that meal be for you? Declan?
Easy. A 16-ounce rare New York strip steak. And I don't know if
rare,
that's from
huh? You're a rare guy.
I want that thing still alive. Like I risk the food poisoning. I risk the cholesterol. I want red in that. I don't want it to. I want it to be just kissing the grill. I love a rare steak. It's the only thing I eat rare, but I want that. I love a New York strip steak probably more than anything.
So you want to see that thing close its eyes and fade away.
Yeah. What was its name? Like, what was its name? You know, like I want the whole backstory. Like I do.
You want to look it in the eye as you slice it. Oh my God, dude! I had a science teacher one time in 9th grade, and I think it was Matt Lubin, if I'm going to give credit here, Matt Lubin, and he was a 9th grade baseball coach, and he told a story one time. He worked at a restaurant, and he was like a chef in the back, right? He was like one of the cooks, and one of the customers wanted a rare steak, so he cooks it up, rare, whatever, what he thought was rare, and gives it back, to the server or whatever. The steak comes back. It's not rare enough. Of course, if it's not rare enough, like you have to start over, right? It's not like that's tough that way.
Yep.
All right. So he does another one. Gets sent back a second time. Not rare enough. So he literally for the third time just counted to 5 on each side. Sent it back just to basically warmed it up and seared it just a little bit. And the guy applauded. I am not a rare steak guy. I got to be medium.
How do you not get sick?
I don't know, man. Declan doesn't get sick, apparently.
No, I'm good.
No. I'm saying with what he was, if you do it that quickly, though, rare's fine. I just can't. Like, if you just warm it up and basically send it to the customer, I think you get sick for sure.
Well, Joe, what's your meal?
Well, I'm going to take a page a little bit from Dex's book. Slightly different, though. Medium rare prime rib and a bed of rice. I love rice. I don't care what type of rice it can be. Yes, I love white rice. I love all types of rice. I don't know why exactly. Perhaps it's my father's Iranian heritage. I don't know, but I love.
So when you
rice.
order like Chinese food or something or like Thai food, you're just pounding that whole thing of white rice.
Well, you can't pound. I mean, I don't pound the whole thing, but I will eat it. Yeah, like I can't pound it like I would noodles or something. But
Okay.
yes, I'm a huge. But if you get a good prime rib, oh, that's good.
White
But I'm
rice,
not
brown
talking
rice,
chew-
all the rice, orange
All the
rice,
rice.
like
Bring it
all
all
the
on.
rice.
All the
Okay.
rice I can handle. All my biggest downfall is starches. Like if you take sweets away, I like sweets; they're fine. But
Yeah, I'm
if
cool
you
without
told me,
sweets.
if you told me tomorrow, no more sweets, I'd be like,
What's
no
your
problem.
starch power rankings? What's your Mount Rushmore of starches that are vices for you?
I love this one. Rice is one because I really love it. I'm not joking. It's not a bit.
Judd, do you like rice?
I love rice. I love rice. You know what? In fact, if anybody out there wants to sell their rice, much like Surly, I will embrace the opportunity to embrace and sell your rice.
We know.
My second one, my second one, baked potatoes. And so
Sounds like a lot of plain food here, man.
Yeah,
like,
it is,
Just
but I'm fine with
rice
it.
and baked
Okay, so
potatoes.
I-
I'm kind of
so-
out on baked potatoes.
oh, okay. So
I
I
am
go
too.
to Cub.
They're not even in the top 5 ways
I'd rather
to
have,
eat
like,
a potato.
cubed.
So-
Yes.
So the Cub,
Yes.
the Cub by where Phil lived for a while, in the back side of that Cub, they sell these massive, and they come in like packs of 3s, massive baked potatoes. I will
That's
cut them
gross.
up. I will cut them
back
up,
alley potato.
throw them in a bag in the microwave for approximately a 12-minute span.
What do you put on them? You have to put something on. You can't
I
just
put
eat a baked
ca-
potato plain.
I put butter, and last night, cool it off a little bit. A lot of ketchup too.
No. Dude,
Yeah,
why?
Because it cools
Who
it off.
are you?
Dude, you made
like
my
applesauce.
connection freeze with that
It's like
just
applesauce. It's a
ridiculous
coolant,
food
dude.
take.
It's
a
like
coolant.
applesauce.
Ketchup, applesauce, cottage cheese too.
Oh,
But
God.
I don't do cottage cheese because I've got a lactose problem.
I've taken
lactose problem.
everything back I've ever said about wanting to come over to your place now. I want
Good, I don't want
nothing
you
to
to-
do.
I'm going over to Judd's for dinner. Yeah, we're gonna have white rice and
Rice.
a plain baked potato, or you can put some ketchup on it.
Ketchup on
A
it.
little side of
Put
cottage
some
cheese.
butter on it.
Poor
cottage
Dawn.
Cheese, though, no, wait. I've got a lactose problem, so sour cream and cottage cheese, I'm very, very careful with.
Oh my god, dude.
Love starches.
All right, Becky.
Wow. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be a shill here. I'm going to give you 2. But the first one I'm going to give you for my last meal, pig approved barbecue. All right.
Oh, yeah.
You guys had a sampling of this a couple weeks ago in the studio. This is a delicious new barbecue joint in the Twin Cities. All of their meat is locally sourced and premium prime beef, pork, 100% wood smoked and smoked fresh daily. That's right. Am I turning you on right now? You can find them Larpenteur Avenue, 1237 Larpenteur Avenue. Have it delivered. Pigapprovedbbq.com. That's pigapprovedbbq.com.
Vikings parties,
Succulent.
bunch of friends.
Dude, this stuff is
coming over.
legit. Yeah.
It is good,
Pig
man.
approved. It was
This
great.
stuff is legit. But I'll tell you, I would also go with not 1, but 2 wood-smoked grilled pork chops from J.D. Hoyt's with a side of Cajun hash browns, barbecue sauce, and asparagus. That's what I'm doing.
Not a
J.D.
buddy bowl?
Hoyt's pork chops.
Not a
What was
buddy
that?
I said, not the old buddy bowl. Give us 3, buddy. Make it 4.
Yeah, Royce's the master of the buddy bowl. But give me those 2 giant chops the size of my torso and some Cajun hash browns and some asparagus. So, all right, well, we found out a lot about Judd's
Good God.
dinner
Love
habits
starches.
there.
Love the starches.
If you guys have any
All the starches.
plain, boring starch recommendations for Judd, just drop them in our comment section on the Purple Daily YouTube page.
I'm old,
Definitely.
okay? I'm old. Bland food, man. That's where it's at.
Just boiled potatoes and brown rice.
Oh, I like boiled potatoes
right.
too. Oh, that's good. A little soup. Oh, yeah.
All right, we got to get out of here.
We got to go.
This is Purple Daily, daily Vikings entertainment, and we just want championships. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl. We'll see you guys tomorrow.